We all know people. We all know people who need care. They're people we work with. They're people we go to church with. They're our neighbors, our elderly friends. There are people who have HIV disease or Alzheimer's or cancer. People need care, and they're everywhere. They live at home. Most of them have illnesses that maybe last a long time. But there are lots of people who need care.
Well, when I found out I had cancer 3 years ago, there's just so many emotions that go through your head at that time. I had many children at home. I was newly married, been married less than a year. It was just, and I had no idea what to expect.
I think as a pastor, one of the greatest needs is trying to be available to all members who may be experiencing healthcare challenges and the difficulty of that. At Tabernacle, just with our sick and shut-in list alone, there are probably over 25 people on that list. And to be able to manage to see every member, visit every member with any kind of regularity or consistency, it is a great and awesome challenge.
A support team is a group of volunteers who provide practical, emotional, and spiritual support to someone with a healthcare need or some other special need. The team approach has 4 basic, simple principles. You do what you can, when you can, but in a coordinated way with a built-in support system.
This model works, and I've also experienced it firsthand as a person who has needed care, who has needed support in my wife's illness, and though having a lot of family support, others who have come in to provide practical and meaningful emotional support to me, I know firsthand what it means.
The support team has helped us learn that there is a way to give within boundaries. There's a way to give in a way that you can feel safe and supported, and that there's also a way to say no.
Serving on a support team has so much flexibility to engage people who are young and old and people who work full-time and have families. Everybody has a little bit of time to give, and everybody has opportunity to really engage in what they love to do when we're asked.
And it also works related to people in the congregation who want to care for other people but are often hesitant because they really don't know how to get at that. A team approach really provides the means for them to be as actively involved as they want to be, and that's important.
And I think the thing that most captured me was the notion that this is about joyful service.
When you can, it has time flexibility built in. This is critical for involving volunteers in this day and time. When can you do it? Right after work, at lunch, maybe during the day when your kids are in school. Maybe it's the weekend that works best for you. Is it every single week? No, it doesn't have to be. It's different for everybody. It's very flexible in how people can be involved.
There were many times, and I do tend to be a real self-sufficient person. No, I'll take myself to chemotherapy. I'm fine. I can do that. Well, I would wake up and I was just like, I can't take myself to chemotherapy today. And I would call, and if the person that I called couldn't, they would know somebody who could. And so I didn't have to make calls all around.
The main thing is the fact that I have people there that I can call and talk to if I'm in trouble. But there's also times when I'm lonely, because this is a very lonely disease. You can't really call up anybody and tell them your problems. And so I know that there's this whole support team, and I have a large one actually, that is there.
The key here is in a coordinated way, and this is where many of our volunteer programs in congregations, organizations, in the community, where we're all doing things individually, but not necessarily together. I don't mean going at the same time together. I mean coordinating it so that when you go, I know when you'll be there, and so that I don't go on the same day and we spread out what we have to offer.
It was a tremendous help to us to know that there was already a structure. There was already a proven way to do this. We wanted to help someone that we loved.
I ended up with a much bigger family than I ever thought that I had. My family's a lot bigger than my mother and my sister and my brother and my husband and my kids and all that. My family is the support team that was there for me when I was sick. And I think the bigger the family we have, the more love that we have. And it's meant the world to me, still does today.
Lastly, not only doing what we can when we can in a coordinated way, but we need to find a way so that this is not a burden to support. And so we have a built-in support system. And this built-in support system is the team. We help each other set boundaries. We encourage one another and learn from each other's experience, so we're not reinventing the wheel every time we go to see someone. We learn so that we can create new ways of doing things together.
The role of the support team network has really evolved over the years. Initially, we began specifically developing teams for people with HIV disease. We moved on to developing teams for any healthcare issue as we saw the team approach really working in the community.
The mission of the Support Team Network is to be a training and resource center for congregations and organizations who want to develop support teams for people with healthcare needs or other special needs.
We teach people, namely members of congregations and organizations, how to develop and support teams in their community. We're not involved in the steps of preparing each individual team, but we want to serve as the people that have learned from 10 years of developing teams and the lessons that those teams have taught us. We share those stories and teach others how they can effectively develop and support teams within their congregation or community.
The support teams have really brought us together as a church. It has certainly bonded the people who were actively a part of the support team with one another and with the person who we were caring for. But it also has sort of built our identity as this is what we do as a church and who we are as a church, is that we care for each other and we know how to do that, and we do it in a way that is joyful.
People can look back on a sickness and say, oh, that was so awful, I went through so much, all that. I look back on it a lot, and not only how much I learned by going through that, but realizing how much you truly loved, you know? That was an amazing gift to me, an amazing gift.
I hope this video has helped you to catch a vision of a movement that is happening all across this country. It's a movement of people who need care and people responding with ways that they want to care. The team approach is a practical way that helps us do that very thing. The challenge is too big if we continue to try to meet all the needs of our neighbor by ourselves. The challenge is too big if we keep trying to recruit people to do what we want them to do as opposed to asking people what they love to do. And the challenge is too big if we try to provide our own training, our own resources, for whatever it is we're trying to do. Instead, if we do it together, it can be done. Do what you can, when you can, in a coordinated way with a built-in support system. I hope we can do this together.